Part of the ColorGuard railing line of products, the UpSide deck sealing system is perfect for new construction and remodeling. It's low maintenance and replaces the side of exposed deck joists and structural components with a pleasing beadboard look. Plus, it diverts water from the deck overhead into a gutter system. Check all local building codes before installing. You'll need tools, eye protection, gloves, 6 or 8 foot level, chalk line, cordless drill or screwdriver, 5/16 hex bit, tape measure, step ladders or scaffolding, miter saw with panel blade, skill saw, utility knife, tin snips or brake. Materials: UpSide quick install tracks, UpSide QIT hardware packs, UpSide starter strips, UpSide C channels, UpSide channels, UpSide edge trim, UpSide glide clips, metal step flashing or trim coil, caulk, size 6 exterior screws for edge trim, pencil, standard gutters 5-inch or 6-inch and downspouts. Estimating your UpSide materials. Visit UpSideByColorGuard.com. Under the Calculator tab, enter your deck's dimensions. Preparation. Before starting, check that joists are straight and square. If they're not, the quick install track can overcome imperfections. Remember to accommodate the installation of a gutter system before installing UpSide deck sealing. Proper flashing channeling water away from the structure is important. Ensure that the flashing is installed behind the ledger board and between joists. We recommend the side of the flashing near the joists be caulked. The inside flashing should extend 8 inches from the ledger board to create a waterfall effect. Getting started. The quick install tracks let you quickly attach the UpSide system to the bottom of the existing deck and set the proper pitch for drainage. The recommended pitch is 1-inch drop per 8 feet. The system should fall away from the mounting point at the ledger board and pitch towards the drainage. Begin installing the first QIT on one of the outermost joists. The flat edge of the QIT should be attached to the side of the joist, with the flange at the bottom. Place the edge of the QIT up against the ledger board and install one 2-inch lag screw from the QIT hardware kit at the intended line. The flange should be either flush or just below the bottom of your joist. At the other end, lower the QIT to the pitch needed for your deck and screw to joist. Continue installing QITs using a level at the far end of the quick install track to ensure a continuous pitch. Pro tip: for a faster install, mount the QITs on the first joist and on another joist within 6 or 8 feet, depending on your level's length. Then, running your level perpendicular, install the other QITs to the joist in between, using the level straight edge to set the pitch. Edge trim. Now, install the edge trim to provide a clean, finished look to the ends of your ceiling. Determine the length needed for your edge trim and channels. Allow 1/8 of an inch between the ledger board and the beginning of the edge trim. This is where your C channel will be installed. Your channels should overlap the installed gutter by at least 2 inches at the drainage end of the system. Your edge trim should match this distance. For distances longer than 10 feet, 2 pieces of edge trim will be butted together. The edge trim should be installed with the leg with the screw holes being attached to your deck fascia or rim joist. The top of this leg should butt up to the bottom of the QIT, setting proper pitch of the edge trim. The bottom leg should face inward, towards the other joists. Repeat this process at the other end of the deck. Starter strips. The starter strips will attach the sealing system to the underside of the QITs. Measure from the edge trim to determine the length of your starter strips. If that distance is longer than 10 feet, you'll use multiple pieces of starter strip butted end to end. The first row of starter strips should be installed 4 inches away from your ledger board, perpendicular to the QITs. Screw the starter strips to the bottom leg of the QITs using the number 10 3/4-inch hex head screws provided in the QIT hardware kit. A screw should be installed at every intersection of the starter strip and the QIT. Pro tip: there's a groove in the center of the starter strip to position the screws. Butt ends of the starter strip should not hang in space. Use a scrap piece of the QIT to splice the ends together if they don't terminate on a QIT. Keep the starter strips as straight as possible. Install additional rows parallel to the first row in 16-inch intervals. Glide clips. Glide clips will attach the channels to the starter strips. Snap several glide clips onto each starter strip. These glide clips hold the main channels in place. Spaced every 6 inches, the glide clips will be used at the intersection of every channel and starter strip. Channels. Channels provide the finished look of the UpSide deck ceiling. Measure, mark, and cut the channels to your deck specifications. Leave room for the gutter system, and plan for a 2-inch overhang into your gutter. While the first and last channels will be the same length as the other channels, you'll need to modify their width. Follow the instructions inside the box to calculate the proper widths. Using a table saw or circular saw, rip the width of the channel to that measurement. The portion of the first channel section will have the U-shaped portion of the channel. Slide the ripped end of the channel into the edge trim and snap the U-shaped portion of the channel into your first set of glide clips. Then, snap the remaining channels together by inserting the arrow end of the channel into the U-shaped end of the adjoining channel. Snap these up into your guide clips. You'll hear an audible click as you snap the channels together. Continue snapping the first 10 channels into place. Initially, keep 2 inches of space between the edge of the channels and the ledger board side. C-channel. The C-channel is an aesthetic trim piece that rests against the ledger board. Install the C-channel along the ends of the installed channels at the ledger board until you reach the edge trim. Then push the channels firmly into the C-channel until set. Continue this process until reaching the far end of your deck. Your final channel should also be rip cut and should match the same width as your first channel. The usable piece of this channel will have the arrow end facing upwards. Slide the cut edge into the edge trim and push upwards into the C channel at the ledger board. Work your way down the edge trim, snapping everything into place. Once finished, there should be an open space left for the gutter system. Pro tip: where the channels overlap the gutter, add a bead of caulk 1 inch from the edge of your channels. This serves as a drip edge. Quick to install and easy to maintain, the UpSide deck ceiling system brings new value and a better look to the underside of a deck, letting you spend more time enjoying the outdoors.